This is an unbelievable dish. It's vibrant and it's packed with flavor. Hey everybody, welcome to the Lodge Kitchen. My name is Chef Chris, and today we're gonna be making the October recipe of the month. This is pasta bolognese in a 6-quart USA enamel Dutch oven. This thing is unbelievable, and it makes just the best bolognese you'll ever see. Can't wait for you guys to see how awesome this looks. Hope you try it at home. Let's go. So to start our bolognese, we're gonna need to peel and chop quite a bit of veg. We're gonna start with our carrots first, and we'll work our way down to the onion. Boom, let's go. I like to use large carrots here because I don't want to be peeling all day. Okay, now I'm gonna chop off the root end and the opposite end just to get off that dry bit. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm gonna make all my carrots look like that. All right, so now that we have got our carrots partially prepped, I'm gonna cut them in half. And then I'm gonna take, basically I'm gonna cut a platform for my carrot to stand on. Okay, and that way I'm not gonna hurt myself with a knife. Knife safety first, folks. All right, so now everybody's got a platform. They're not gonna wiggle and wobble around. And I'm gonna cut these into planks. And we are gonna just go a little more than 1/4 of an inch. All right, so now we've got our planks. We're gonna cut these into sticks. Trying to mirror what we did with our first cut. So this is what we're looking at for these. Now I'm just gonna run my knife through. We're just gonna make a small dice. What we're gonna do now is take our celery. I've already chopped off the root end and the stem end, and I'm just gonna knock all those in half just so they're all about the same size. We're gonna do something very similar. I'm gonna take my celery, I'm gonna curved in towards the table, and I'm going to cut it into strips. So we've got all of our celery now in those little matchsticks. That is perfect, but it's not time to celery break yet. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna make them look just like the carrots. This is great. These are gonna look beautiful in the bowl together. Boom, onion, I got it. Chop off the stem end. I wanna keep the root ball intact. We're gonna do that because we don't wanna cut ourselves. Now what I'm gonna do with a flat hand, I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna run it through, but not all the way through. And this is just gonna help me get uniform dicing. This part you shouldn't skip. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is run this knife back through, and look at that, beautiful. All right, so some garlic. I like lots of garlic. You can use as much garlic here as you would like, as long as it's a ton of garlic. We're gonna do our open flat hand knife, smash, right? Halloween's coming up, right? Do your inner psycho or whatever. All right, so we got a ton of garlic here. We've already done a really good job at smashing that garlic. It starts the mincing process for us. Now all I have to do is run my knife through it a few times, and I'm just looking for uniformity here. I wanna make sure that my garlic cooks evenly. I don't have one piece of garlic that's super raw and another piece that's burned to a crisp. If you're trying to keep Dracula away too, this is a really great way to do that. You know, whenever there's a full moon out, we always try to just chop up some garlic, put it in a skillet, just kind of let them know like, hey, maybe you stay over there. Dracula doesn't care about a full moon, does he? Guess what? If he comes over to my house, he's gonna be eating awesome bolognese. We have a 6-quart enamel Dutch oven right here, and I'm gonna pop that over medium heat. I am gonna take the lid off of it so we can see what's going on. So we're gonna let this heat for 1 to 2, 3 minutes. We just wanna make sure we're nice and hot. I'm gonna add oil in just a second, and I'll know that it's ready when that oil gets like a shimmer across it. You can kind of see some ripples in it before it starts to smoke. We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons. So I'm watching my oil right now, just looking for that shimmer. It's starting to get there. But like I said, we just wanna make sure it's not smoking when we put it in. And you can always tell. You can take a little piece of either the beef or the pork if you're not sure, and we want to make sure you hear a sizzle. We hear a sizzle, right? All right, it's sizzle time. So like I said, all this is going to go in. We've got 1 pound of our ground beef, we have 1 pound of our ground pork, and we have our rosemary sprig. Now I'm just gonna mash this up in the bottom of my Dutch oven, make sure that as much of that enamel cast iron is coming into contact with my proteins, because that's gonna caramelize and just make awesomeness in my Dutch oven. This is 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your heat setting, but all you're looking for is to make sure your meat is cooked through. So we've spread our meat out in the bottom of the pan. It's sizzling nicely and browning up beautifully. I've got a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. I'm just gonna add that in, but I'm already getting lots of aromatics from that rosemary. It's already beginning to make my kitchen smell lovely. I've got a confession, folks. I am an overstirrer. When I grew up, my mom had us in the kitchen at very young ages, and she would have us stir the pot. And that was just a better way for us not to like hurt ourselves or each other when she had 2 boys running around the house. So we would just stand in the kitchen and she'd give us a job to do. To this day, I feel like I'm a recovering overstirrer. So I keep touching that, but I really just need to let that Dutch oven do its job. It's looking great, it smells great. I just gotta let the Dutch oven do its work. So we've got our beautiful veg that we have chopped up very nicely. This has been going about 5 minutes. Our meat has browned very nicely. We're just gonna add all of that veg into our 6-quart enamel Dutch oven. Give this a knock around, and we're gonna let these cook and work for about 10 to 12 minutes. We're really just trying to make them tender before we start building the rest of our sauce. Man, the second you put that garlic in, Dracula runs right away from your house. Our veg is worked down, it's nice and tender. Our Dutch oven's still over that medium flame. I'm gonna add now, we have our San Marzano tomatoes. These are whole tomatoes we're using, and I'm gonna be able to just crush them up into the sauce, and just makes for a rustic, just awesome flavor. To that, we are also going to add a few other things. So we have 2 teaspoons of sugar. We're gonna use a tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm just gonna eyeball that. We have 2 bay leaves that are gonna go in here, and we have half a cup of Pinot Noir. The rest of it is probably swimming around in my tummy, or will be before the end. So since we're using those whole tomatoes, I'm just crushing them as we go. It's gonna turn into a sauce really quickly. Also, all of this is gonna break down fairly well because it's gonna cook for such a long time. Normally, you want a sauce like this to cook over a number of hours, at least 3. But for this recipe, if you wanna pull it at an hour, you can. If you wanna let it go 3 hours, it's gonna be a lot better. It's still gonna be delicious after an hour. So that's on you and how much time you have. I like to make my house smell yummy all day long, but you do you, boo-boo. All right, we're gonna let that come up to a simmer. Perfect spoon rest. We're already at a boil. Gonna drop that heat down, add our cover, and we will see you in 1 to 3 hours. So our sauce has been simmering for about 3 hours, and it smells unbelievable. Right now I've got it over a super low flame, and I've still got, it's just simmering very nicely. All of the flavors have just come together to make just the most incredible magic. What I'm gonna do now is, I know I have 2 bay leaves, and there's 1 bay leaf, here's the other bay leaf, and then I know I have that stalk. All right, so all of the rosemary should have come off the stalk. There it is. All right, so we're just gonna pull that stalk out, and that had rosemary all over it. Now all that is in my pot and doing everything that it can do to make this just the most epic dish in the whole wide world. All right, so we're gonna give that just a little stir around. I'm gonna kill the heat. Now all we need to do, we're gonna add about a half a cup of milk. This milk's at room temperature. That's gonna go in. That's just gonna bring everything together and just like create a more of a silky mouthfeel and just be epic. So we're just gonna give that another little knock around. We have some noodles that we boiled earlier. These are nice and hot. These are pakari noodles, but honestly, you can use whatever noodle floats your boat. And I just like these because they looked rad, and I felt like they were gonna hold on to that beautiful sauce. So what we're gonna do is just give this a little toss around in our incredible bolognese sauce. This looks unbelievable. It smells incredible, and it's gonna eat good too. We've got just the most amazing pasta dish right over here. To this, I'm gonna add, I've cut some basil, fresh basil up into ribbons. You can do that, or you can tear it, or it goes in there nicely whole. whatever you want to do, however you want to basil. Now we're going to take some Parmesan cheese. So we're not going to go too hard on the cheese here because once it gets to my plate, I'm going to add quite a bit more of the Parmesan cheese because I am a giant child. This is a absolutely stunning dish. Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. The sauce is rich. It is just so much flavor. This pasta is a lot of fun. All right, time to take a bite. Hope you guys make this at home, make it your own. Hopefully you guys keep cooking along with us for our recipe of the month. Love you, bye. I'm just kidding. This is amazing. Welcome, ghouls and goblins. Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back. Ain't too much country boy like you can't hack. This is a barrel roll, right?